Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful and amazing episode. This is episode 137, live on YouTube and Facebook. Um, and again, I'm so excited to be here with you on this Monday, the 12th of January 2026. If you're tuning in or if you just joined, can you just do me a favor? If you can share the link with at least one person, let the one person share with another person, tell somebody to tell somebody that we are live this Monday with episode 137. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so as you share, I'm also sharing mine. All right, so again, thank you for tuning in, and this is your host, David Joe, on the Step Out, Step In podcast, live on YouTube and Facebook, episode number 37. Step Out, Step In podcast is what helps you and I to step out of what limits you and I to step into our God given abilities and what God has prepared for us. All right, so um, yeah, let's do this real quick. Let's do this quick, and let me also try to share mine here. Where am I? Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Episode 137. Here we go. Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to have a wonderful time, and I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you just joined, please share the link with at least one person. Tell one person to tell another person. We are live. We are live. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. All right. Just okay. Okay, get this one out. Here we go. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm so excited to be doing this, and in fact, I got a text message from should I say a family member, and it really touched me, and she was telling me this has really helped her to um, make progress in her life, and it's that is the reason why I do what I do, in spite of all the challenges and the moments, the up and the downs we go through. All right. So episode 137, we're going to talk about shut the door behind you. If you saw the poster, there was a door which was being shut, and as a person of faith, I take this inspiration from the scriptures in Second Kings chapter 4 and from verse 1 to 7. That is where I take this inspiration from. So again, if you just tuned in, or if you're just if you happen to watch the replay, I want you to comment, share, and let's journey together in this episode. Watch this space.
Every Monday. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join me as we dive headfirst into thrilling stories of personal growth, daring adventures, and transformative experiences. Get ready to be motivated, inspired, and empowered to live your life to the fullest. So mark your calendar, set your alarm, and get ready to step out, step in with me every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Subscribe now and let's step into the unknown together. This is Step Out, Step In. The journey begins here. Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
All right. So again, thank you for tuning into episode 137 live on YouTube and Facebook. And tonight we're going to have a wonderful time, I believe. So again, if you're just tuning in, I want to welcome you. And if you can at least share the link with one person, let that one person also share with another, and let's get the ball rolling. So tonight we're talking about shut the door behind you. And I want to start by asking a question that have you ever noticed that some breakthroughs don't come with applause? Some miracles don't happen on a stage. And some of the most life challenging moments don't happen in public view. They happen behind closed doors. As we step deeper into 2026, ladies and gentlemen, many people are asking God for more. They're asking God for more growth, for more clarity, for more stability, and for more results. But what if the next level of your life requires a simple but powerful instruction? And that instruction is shut the door behind you. Today we're diving into a powerful story, as I said earlier on, uh, um, from 2 Kings chapter 4, where a widow on the brink of financial collapse receives a miracle not in the marketplace, not in the streets, not in front of spectators, but in her house after she shut the door. This episode is about what it means to shut the door, why it is necessary to shut the door, and what doors you must intentionally, purposefully close in 2026 so God can do what only He can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a deep breath, lean in, and let's step out of distractions and step into divine focus. And if you can, just take some notes. At least at the end of it, you can go back and reference it. So let's dive into it. We're not going to read a scripture, but it is based on 2 Kings chapter 4, from verse 1 to 7. If you get a chance, please do read. Um, and as I said earlier on, a widow cries out to Elisha, runs to Elisha, tells Elisha that her husband is dead. But the husband left a whole lot of debt behind. And the debt collectors were coming for her sons as payment. So Elijah asked her a concurrent question, or two concurrent questions. In fact, Elisha, I beg your pardon, Elisha didn't wait for her to answer the first question, and she added a second one. And the question Elisha asked her is, what do you want me to do for you? And the second question was, what do you have in your house? Then comes the instruction that changes everything. After he asked her, "What do you want me to do for you? And what do you have in the house?" She had something in her house, ladies and gentlemen, and I believe that every one of us has something. Sometimes the things you don't place a value on, that is what can bring your breakthrough. She said, "I don't have anything except a jar of oil." She didn't place any value on the oil. She didn't know that the value was going to give her her breakthrough. But then Elisha instructs her to go borrow vessels, a lot, not a few. And says, after you've borrowed the vessels, then go into your room, you and your sons. Shut the door behind you and pour out all those, fill out all those vessels. So she obeyed the instructions. You know, I believe that many people fail exams not because they are not smart, but most of the time because they didn't read the instructions or they didn't follow instructions. So as she obeyed the prophet Elisha, went borrowed the vessels, brought the vessels home. She and her sons shut the door behind them, started pouring the oil into the vessels. The oil multiplied. The oil multiplied, and it multiplied after the door was shut. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through this, what does it mean? What does it mean to shut the door? And I'm glad you asked the question, and we want to see how we can answer this. What does it mean to shut the door? All right. So let's look at what it means. Shutting the door is not about isolation. It's about intentional separation. In this life, there are days and moments where you have to be intentional to separate yourself from certain things. Shut the door means to disconnect from distractions, to separate from outside noise, to limit unnecessary access, and to create sacred space for God to work. You know, this isn't about secrecy. It was about focus. God often does his greatest work when opinions are silenced, when pressure is reduced, when comparison is removed, and when faith is uninterrupted. That is when God does his greatest works, ladies and gentlemen. Some doors this year doesn't need to be slammed. You don't have to slam those doors. They just need to be closed gently but firmly. The doors would just have to be closed gently but firmly. So why is shutting the doors necessary? Why is it necessary? Why is shutting the door necessary? You know, the number one, and let's go through this real quick. Number one, the door was shut to protect her faith. The door was shut to protect her faith. If the door was open, I believe that fear could have walked in. Doubt could have walked in as well. And all the negative voices could have walked in. Just imagine your husband left behind debt. The debt collectors are coming for their money. I mean, they borrowed you the money. They didn't give it to you to take. They say we give you the money, but we want it back. And if you don't have it back, we're going to take your sons to go work to pay off that debt. The debt collectors are coming. And you open your door and they see you pouring oil. I mean, all these people are going to come in and start saying things which will contaminate your faith. I mean, they will say things that would even discourage you. You know, I have come to realize that faith grows best in protected environment. Do you want me to say it again? Faith grows best in protected environment. In 2026, if you leave every door open, faith is likely to leak. You must shut the door on, number one, people who constantly question your obedience. Voices that minimize your steps of faith. Environments that drain your spiritual confidence. You know, in the scriptures, the Bible says that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. You need faith through God's word to hold on to it, to stand firmly on it, and to walk boldly with it. So you and I will have to be careful what we allow. You have to be careful what you allow yourself to hear this year. This year, I believe that one of the things that it can be a skill you can learn to filter the things you hear. You know, to filter the things you hear. Number two is the door was shut to eliminate distractions. The door was shut to eliminate every distraction. Pouring oil requires attention. She wasn't going to be careless and spill it on the floor. The instruction was to pour the oil in the vessels. If she kept looking outside, if she kept looking on her phone and getting distracted by social media back then, I know back then they didn't have all that, but I'm just relating into this our present moment, what easily distracts us. She would have missed what was happening inside. Distractions, ladies and gentlemen, dilute divine flow. So in 2026, you cannot multitask your miracles. You cannot scroll and pour out at the same time. You cannot scroll. You cannot be distracted and be pouring at the same time. You cannot focus on God and entertain chaos. Some blessings, ladies and gentlemen, require undivided attention. And I trust that as we journey through 2026, you'll be able to identify the things that was a distraction, has become a distraction, or may become a distraction, and shut the door on it. Number three is the door was shut so the miracle could multiply. Have you realized that anytime God performs a miracle, he multiplies it? There was this little boy with his lunch, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. God didn't add, he multiplied it to feed 5,000 men, not including women and children. So the oil didn't multiply because she had much. It multiplied because she obeyed. The miracle stopped when the vessels ran out, not when the oil did. The oil did not run out. It was the vessels that ran out. That is why the oil ceased. Closed doors create capacity, ladies and gentlemen. Closed doors. In 2026, shut the door long enough for discipline to grow. Shut the door long enough for consistency to develop. Shut the door long enough for vision to become clear. Shut the door long enough for momentum to build. Open doors too soon can interrupt multiplication. Open doors too soon can interrupt multiplication. And number four is the door was shut to prevent comparison. The door was shut to prevent comparison. If the neighbors were watching, she might rush the process. She might compare outcomes. She might stop early. And sometimes she might feel embarrassed and just walk away. You know, comparison is the thief of focus. And I heard something today that comparison also makes you ungrateful because you're always comparing. You can be grateful for what you have. You know, my mom used to say that the reason why you don't have to compare yourself to other people is for the same reason why your fingers are not of the same length. And she will lift up, raise her fingers, and point it to you that, look at the fingers. The fingers are not all the same. Your journey in 2026 does not need any commentary. Your process does not need approval, ladies and gentlemen. Your obedience does not need validation. In the book of Galatians 6, it says that let each one examine his own work. It is an individualistic thing. Shut the door on comparison. God did not bring you on here to compare yourself with other people. He created you unique, amazing as an individual. Out of the billions of people in this world, you stand out as a unique person. You are one of a kind. There is not two of you anywhere. It is only you and you that God created. Have you realized that anything that is mass produced is so cheap, but anything that is custom made, once it's custom made, you can find a duplicate anywhere, and it is so expensive. That is who you are. You've been bought with a price. That is why you are priceless. That is why you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are so amazing. Stand in the mirror every morning. Look at yourself and say, oh, what a wow me. I'm one of a kind. I'm amazing. I beg your pardon. So shut the door on comparison. The door was shut to prevent any kind of comparison. And finally, number 5. Shut the door. You know, the door was shut not because the door was shut because not everyone is assigned to your process. Not everyone is assigned to your process. Everyone is not meant to see the process, only the fruit. Some people are assigned to celebrate the results, not witness the development. If they become part of the developing process, probably they might cause you to abort it too early. Have you thought about this? The reason why when Mary got pregnant, I mean, Mary's situation was very unique. She was engaged at the time, and according to the Jewish tradition, you have to be fully married before you had any affair with your husband. But she was engaged when she got pregnant. Now, when she got pregnant, God did not send her to all the pregnant women in her area at that time. Her cousin Elizabeth was advanced in age. She was way older. The people call her barren. I mean, back in the days, if you never had a child, it was more like a stigma. I mean, her name was barren. They called her barren. They laughed at her. But when she got pregnant, nobody knew about it. Not even her cousin Mary. But when Mary got pregnant, God sent Mary to Elizabeth because they had something in common. They were cousins anyway. It says, go to your cousin Elizabeth, for she is pregnant for 6 months. 6 months. She didn't disclose it to anyone. She didn't tell anyone until God revealed it to Mary and sent Mary to her. If Mary had gone to anywhere else, you know, how society and the things they will say, even today, they still say it. People still don't believe the virgin birth. So some people don't need to be part of the process. They only need to witness the fruits. They only need to witness the development. So in 2026, ladies and gentlemen, protect your becoming. Guard your growth. Keep some instructions between you and God. What God is forming in private will speak loudly in public. Permit me to say that again. What God is forming in private will speak loudly in public. Let them laugh at you because you've waited too long. Let them laugh at you because your process has slowed. It is so slow. Somebody who just started yesterday has advanced way ahead of you. I mean, let them laugh, but stay put in the process. Stay put in that room with a shut door with you and God as the audience. Stay put. What God is forming in private will speak loudly in public. So, what do you need to shut the door to shut the door on in 2026? What do you need? What kind of doors do you want to shut the door? And ladies and gentlemen, let's be a little bit practical now. Let's be practical. You may need to shut the door on old habits that keep pulling you back. And I'm glad a family member sent me that text that she suggested to and shifted away from some old habits. And this is what keeps me going. I know for now they might not be for the masses, but at least one person that is being blessed from this makes me, should I say happy? Makes me satisfied. Because I know that one person that is being blessed can also bless another person, and it becomes a ripple effect. You got to shut the door on conversations that no longer align with your direction. You got to shut the door on emotional access to people who drain you. They are draining people out there. You don't have to subject yourself to them for them to keep draining you. You got to shut the door on them. You got to shut the door on fear of missing out. You know, fear of missing out, FOMO, is causing a lot of people to spend the money they don't have to impress the people they don't like, and at the end of it, their bills become hills. You got to shut the door on the need to explain yourself. My spiritual father, my bishop, always tells us that you are not in the court of law. You don't always have to explain yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Shutting the door doesn't mean you are rude. It doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means you are ready for something bigger and something better. Some doors must be closed so new oil can flow. I love that. Some doors must be closed so new oil can flow. Be determined that 2026, you're going to allow the new oil to flow, because you're shutting the door behind you on things that are no longer helping your process. All right, so again, thank you for tuning in to episode 137 live on YouTube and Facebook. If you're just joining me, thank you so much. If you happen to watch the replay, please let us know where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. And comment, nice comments. And like, share. All right. So, in closing, I just want us to wrap up real quick. You know, the Windows. Did I say the Windows? No. The widow's miracle didn't begin with what she lacked, but with what she had and didn't place a value on. All she had was just a jar of oil. But look at this equation. But oil plus obedience plus closed door is equals to overflow. Let me give you that equation again. Oil, she says but oil. So let me put it this way. But oil plus obedience plus closed door is equals to overflow. God is not asking you for what you don't have. And God is never going to ask you for what you don't have. He's asking you to shut the door and trust Him with what you have. So as you journey through 2026, I want you to take a moment, ask yourself just one question. Not two, not three, but just one. And that one question is, what door do I need to intentionally shut so God can work in my life? What one door? What door do I need to intentionally, purposefully, deliberately shut so God can work in my life? So this week, as you journey through this week, as you go through this week, identify one distraction to eliminate. Identify one boundary to reinforce. I said the other time that boundaries are not walls, but boundaries help you to walk in your purpose. Identify one voice that you need to silence. One habit to close the door on. This week, spend time, make some time, and identify these ones. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this episode has blessed you or blessed you in a way, can you do us a favor to share with someone who needs to hear it? And again, subscribe, like, leave a review. It helps this podcast to reach more lives. And remember, some miracles don't need an audience. They need obedience. They need focus. They need you to shut the door behind you. So until same time next time, God willing, step out of distraction and step into purpose. This has been your host, David Joe. I love you. There's nothing you can do. Go have a wonderful, amazing, fruitful, and a very productive week. And again, I say Happy New Year. You know, I know it sounds awkward in some people's ear, but we're still in the new year. If I didn't get to wish you Happy New Year at the beginning of the year, we're still in the new year. So again, Happy New Year. Have a wonderful time. Have a blast this week. And remember to shut the door on certain things for God's miracle to flow. Goodbye.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind, watch how you've grown. Challenge yourself, break free, and begin to find the purpose within. Step out, step in, out of your comfort zone.